Welcome back, everybody, to Getting a Grip on the Michigan Business Network. You know, I did the Bottom Line IT podcast for so many years that I'm so tempted every time we come back from a commercial to go, welcome back to Bottom Line IT. But that would be wrong because we're not
That would
talking
be.
about IT. We're talking about EOS.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's a lot more fun talking about EOS. I mean, I would have
It
never
is.
said that before, but talking about IT can be a little dry. I mean,
Yeah.
that might be breaking news to people, but
Breaking news.
it can be a little bit dry. But we're not. This is Katie Saglimbene. I'm Mike Maddox. Katie runs and operates Elevate Marketing, and she runs on EOS and at Elevate. And we're talking about in the last segment, you made mention of the fact that once you implemented EOS into your business, your stress level got alleviated because you were able to, and I can relate to this. As a business owner, there's a million problems going through your head all the time. They're with you when you get up, they're with you when you go to bed. You carry the burden, right? Heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? And EOS allows you to take all those thoughts, put them on your issues list first. So let's start with that. For people who are not running on EOS, what the heck is an issues list? What does that mean?
Well, I think to even back up further, um, one of the things that we did right away when we started implementing EOS is change how we structure our meetings and our team meetings. And one of the things that we did for years is not hold a meeting with our team specifically on Elevate Marketing Company. We held meetings all the time for our clients, but we never really treated ourselves like a client. And so that I think is one of the first important things is, are you holding meetings, constructive, productive meetings? How many times have we sat, I mean, before EOS at ASK, we held meetings all the time with one too many people on the leadership team.
Yep.
And half of the information that we were talking about, we were going down rabbit holes, we were
all the time.
beating dead horses.
Yeah.
We were, all the animals of EOS, those stuffed animals probably would have been thrown around the room like crazy if we would have had them then.
I chaired and facilitated those nonsense meetings, and I look back and go, holy cow, what a waste, what a colossal waste of time.
And I think that's one of the things, like the running jokes of like business or having a business or being involved with a business is like, how many meetings could have been a phone call, a text message, or an email? And I think one of the important things with EOS is we want to alleviate that. We want to have productive, constructive, issue solving meetings. And
what we
if
call
you
them
don't
level 10 meetings.
Level 10 meetings. So if you don't have an issues list, you're not going to have a productive, defined meeting. And I think that's one of the things that's really nice about EOS is when you have an issue, something comes up, an employee resigns, a client cancels a meeting, a pandemic arises. How the heck are you going to shift your business?
Yep.
How are you going to navigate inflation and raising prices and all of those things? All of those things can really weigh down a business owner and clutter your mind, especially if you're sitting in that visionary seat.
Yeah.
If you're absorbing all of those issues and thoughts, that is taking away from your ability to think creatively for your business and help your business grow. So those types of things come up day in and day out. There are things today that I still deal with on a daily basis that are not fun. I don't love it.
Yeah.
But it's just an issue. And so I add it to the issues list. And then when we have a structured team meeting every week, bi-weekly, whatever the rotation is for your meeting, you use that issue list as a guide and basically an agenda for how you structure conversations. You have short list, or short-term issues and long-term issues.
Yeah, and short-term issues, if you're in, they're just the issues that we really need to solve this quarter. These have to be addressed now. Long-term they're issues, they're important, but we don't have the bandwidth, time, or they don't rise to the level of importance of the other issues or the rocks that we have or the objectives that we have to be dealt with this quarter. But we don't want to lose them. We want to capture them. So that's alleviating in and of itself that we've got it. It's on the list. It's just long-term. But short-term, we do something called IDS, which is identify, discuss, and solve. Explain that and how that's worked in your experience when you've been a part of an L10 meeting.
Yeah. So first and foremost is we just have to call it how it is. What's the issue? And then sometimes that in itself you can go around the table with your group, round and round. Really, what is the root issue?
Yeah.
Is the root issue that, take inflation, for example, is the root issue that we don't know how to up our prices because we're getting charged more from our services? Like, what is the root issue? What is really causing this to be something that we have to navigate?
Yeah, separating the symptoms from what is really at the root of
Exactly.
this.
And sometimes that's what you have to do, is talk about all your symptoms to finally get back around the table and say, ah, I know
Yeah.
what the root issue is. And just being able to verbalize that, verbalize the symptoms and that sort of thing, those are all things that you have to do to figure out what your root issue is. Once you have your root issue, then you have a discussion phase. So I for identify, D for discuss, and you discuss, what is the root issue? How do we come up with a solve for it? You just kind of talk about the issue and
What
massage
would
it.
work? What would work
What
to
Yeah.
alleviate this issue
What
forever?
Here are a
Like,
couple different options. And
yeah,
then eventually you can come up with a solution and solve it. Some issues remain an issue for a while, a short-term issue, because
yeah.
maybe you have to you know, go back and do some more research or get questions answered.
I like to say they
So,
have to be solved in steps. So sometimes in
yes.
that solving process, we can't solve it completely, but we can take
Hmm.
steps to move it closer to solve. So you
Yep.
keep the issue open, you assign the action item in the to-do, and then you circle back at your next L10 meeting and move it farther forward. You're taking the chunk approach. We're chunking pieces of it off
Exactly.
and till you uproot it forever. And I always still tell clients that I would rather that you IDS and get to the root of one issue in your L10 meeting and
Hmm.
solve it forever than 15 issues that you're solving
Yes.
forever. That you're just kind of lawn mowing the weeds. You're just kind of throwing
Mhm.
stuff at it, hoping it works. And as teams get healthier, they do that. We are out of time. That went really fast, but I appreciate you sharing your experience on
Yeah.
that. Out of time in this segment. We're coming back. Like we're not done. We're just out of time in this segment.
There's more. There's
There is
more.
more. So don't go anywhere. Listen to these
Yeah.
commercials that are incredibly important. And then we'll be back after the break. You're listening to Getting a Grip.
Do a double take, see me on fire, see that I can break. Knew I'd be great, knew I would rise through all of the pain.